I'm Rachel.
Standing in the middle of my sister's once grand wedding reception, chaos unfurled around me like a storm. The room was filled with gasps and shocked whispers as I revealed the truth that had been buried beneath layers of lies. My parents' faces turned ashen, and my sister, Lily, looked at me with a mix of fear and disbelief. The groom, Ethan, stared at his bride and her family as if he were seeing them for the first time. 6 weeks ago, I woke up from a 9-hour spinal surgery. The first thing I saw on my phone were 73 missed calls. My vision was still blurry from the anesthesia, but I played the voicemail from my father. His voice was nonchalant, almost cheerful. "We sold your apartment to pay for Lily's wedding. You were unconscious, so we signed for you. The money's gone." I felt as if the ground had been pulled out from under me. My parents have always favored Lily. She's 26, a budding actress with a small but growing social media following. She's never held a steady job, always relying on our parents' support. When I graduated from college with honors, my parents were at one of Lily's auditions. When I bought my apartment at 29, my father said I should have given the money to Lily to start her career. I've always been the responsible one. I worked hard at my job as a software engineer, climbing up the corporate ladder. I saved every penny, and that apartment was not just a place to live. It was a symbol of my independence and hard work. 5 years ago, when my parents were on the verge of losing their house due to debt, I used my savings to pay off their mortgage. They promised to pay me back, but they never did. The week before my surgery, I made all the arrangements for my recovery. I hired a home, care aide, and stocked up on groceries. Meanwhile, my parents called me multiple times, asking me to contribute to Lily's wedding fund. The venue was expensive, and Lily had found a designer dress that cost a fortune. I told them I was having surgery in a few days and couldn't contribute. My mother's voice turned cold, saying they'd figure it out without me. On the day of my surgery, I was nervous but hopeful for relief from the pain that had plagued me for years. After the long operation, waking up to that voicemail was a nightmare. I called my father, my voice steady. I told him what they did was illegal, that they had forged my signature. He tried to justify it, saying it was for the family, that Lily deserved a perfect wedding. My mother called me later, scolding me for threatening them. She said I was being selfish and that I should be happy for Lily. I asked her if she knew who owned their house. They had no idea that 5 years ago, I'd bought their house through an LLC so they could keep living there. I'd been their landlord all along, and their rent checks went straight into my account. A week before the wedding, Lily called me, her voice dripping with false concern. She said I'd been upsetting our parents. When I confronted her about suggesting they sell my apartment, she tried to deny it at first, then claimed it was just a suggestion. The next day, she posted a sob story on social media, saying I was trying to ruin her wedding out of jealousy. Our relatives started calling me, scolding me without even asking for my side of the story. 2 days before the wedding, there was a rehearsal dinner. I walked in slowly with my cane, and the room fell silent. My father made a toast about family and sacrifice, not even looking at me. Lily was all smiles, but I could see the worry in her eyes. I told her I had a gift for her at the wedding. On the wedding day, the venue was a luxurious mansion. I arrived with my Aunt Grace, the only one in the family who had always believed in me. As the ceremony ended and we moved to the reception, my father called me up to give a toast. I took the microphone and started to speak. I told the 200 guests about the surgery, about how my parents had sold my apartment while I was unconscious. I showed them the forged documents. Then, I revealed that I was the owner of my parents' house and that their lease would expire in 30 days. The room erupted in chaos. Ethan, the groom, was devastated. He realized that the money for the wedding had come from my stolen apartment. He confronted Lily, and she had no answer. His parents demanded to speak with her privately. After the wedding, many relatives came to me, apologizing. Ethan's mother, Mrs. Thompson, told me she thought I'd done the right thing. An hour later, Ethan found me. He told me that 3 months ago, when they got engaged, his laptop went missing from Lily's apartment. It had all his family's financial records. He suspected that Lily had targeted him for his family's money. The fallout was swift. My father was put on administrative leave from his job at a bank. My mother lost her social circle. Lily's social media following started to dwindle, and she lost all credibility. She got a job at a local coffee shop, her first real job in years. 30 days after the wedding, my father called me, asking for more time to find a new place to live. I told him they had had 4 years of living in a house I paid for while treating me poorly. I said I was done being taken advantage of. 2 months after the wedding, I walked through my parents' former house. It was empty, and I felt a strange mix of sadness and relief. I decided to rent the house to a young couple, and the rental income would go to a charity that helps victims of family financial abuse. I've learned that setting boundaries is not about revenge. It's about self-respect. Family doesn't give anyone the right to hurt you. And sometimes, walking away is the most loving thing you can do for yourself.